Hi, I'm Christine Daniels. I'm a high performance coach, executive strategist, and keynote speaker. I'm also a founding member of America's first virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the co-chair of the Leadership and Management Growth Committee. I run my own business. It's a coaching and consulting practice. The work I do is about developing leaders, building stronger teams, and integrating high performance with personal alignment, that inner work that makes the outer work sustainable. I deliver this through executive coaching, leadership development, and strategy work with executives, founders, and leadership teams. Before this chapter of my career, I spent over 25 years across capital markets, family office investing, and venture capital. One of the things I value most about AVCCI is what it actually is: a national community where professionals, business owners, and organizations connect, collaborate, and amplify each other's work. Building a business is one thing. Building it with the right relationships, the right visibility, and the right network across the country, that is something else entirely. And AVCCI is where that happens. If this sounds like the kind of community you've been looking for, we would love to have you. Learn more at avcci.us and learn more about my work at christineadaniels.com. I look forward to connecting.
Hi, I'm Steve Turner and excited to be a part of the American Virtual Chamber of Commerce, AVCCI. I am the owner and operator of Solomon Turner Public Relations in St. Louis, author of the book PR That Works, and a national speaker. We solve the problems of helping companies build their brand through PR strategies in this crazy era of AI. Solomon Turner helps business owners better connect with their customers and communities that they serve for the long term, and we help sales and marketing with long-term growth by using these PR strategies. We have clients nationwide. We've worked with a lot of people you would know, such as celebrities as Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Steve Forbes, and many corporations like Northwestern Mutual. So I invite you to reach out. Love to talk to you, meet you, and have a conversation. And feel free to email or call at the numbers provided. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Kristen Panella of Too Safe Consulting. I'm a founding member of AVCCI, and I chair the Workplace Health, Safety, and Risk Committee, where we're looking to do presentations on education and provide tools that will help you have a safe environment within your workplace. At Too Safe Consulting, safety is more than compliance. It's about protecting people, supporting operations, and building a culture that actually works in the real world. I founded Too Safe with one goal in mind: to provide companies with practical, high-level environmental health and safety support that makes a real impact. We work across many industries, including manufacturing, utilities, aerospace, construction, energy, pharmaceuticals, from OSHA compliance to hazardous waste manifests to safety training, audits, investigations, full EH&S program management. Our team becomes an extension of your operation. What makes us different is that we don't just hand over a binder and walk away. We stay involved, solve problems, train your people, and help create long-term results. Whether your company needs a complete safety program or support on a single project, Too Safe is ready to help wherever the work takes us. Let's build something safer together. Thank you. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Hello, my name is Melina Picon. I'm a founding member at America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We would like you to join us today. I am also president of PowerBooks LLC. We provide outsourced accounting, bookkeeping, controller services of businesses of all sizes. We help them transition from struggling in-house messy bookkeeping to high-level financial department. By outsourcing with us, our clients save up to 40% on their accounting costs, which allows them to focus on generating revenue. We guarantee honest, balanced, timely, and efficient financial services. If you would like to talk us on the phone, you can call us at 845-208-4649. And if you would like to email me, my email address is melina@powerbooks-llc.com. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eugene Rodriguez, founding member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, otherwise known as AVCCI. You can join us or visit our website at www.avcci.us. Again, my name is Eugene Rodriguez, and I'm a business relationship manager with Chase Bank. I work on the acquisition side and assist customers with anything from cash management to financing to basic banking needs if necessary. I'm looking for any business owner that wants a better relationship with their banking institution. If you happen to know anybody, or if that happens to be you, feel free to contact me and/or come to the website and send me a message. Thank you so much, and I look forward to meeting you.
Mel, welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Thank you, Kevin. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much. How are you? How is your week going so far?
It's great. It's Friday. It's always good to be Friday in Alabama, and not as hot as it's going to be yet.
Yes, so you're connecting from Alabama. That's great. Our home is New York City, and we welcome our guests from different parts of the country, and I'm happy to have you today in the American Business Podcast. Well, why don't we get started? As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our listeners and to our viewers?
Absolutely. So my name is Mel Blackwell. I've spent 35 years in the corporate fixer role in the United States. I've worked for international companies, domestic companies, all different sizes. I was never a vertical specialist, subject matter expert. I was a generalist. And started my career in startups, moved into more complex fix-ups, got a reputation for, hey, this guy can fix things. And I just kept moving into larger, more complex fix-ups. And after doing that for about 35 years, it was a treacherous career. I got myself in over my head a lot, but we always pulled it off. And I like to tell people I embedded behind enemy lines. I was flown in on a helicopter and dropped off, and I lived or died with the team. So I became a permanent member of the team, usually at the C level. And I learned to love the people. And I was able to work and build teams to correct what I learned were culture problems. And so looking back on my career, I realized I was a culture expert, kind of a culture architect. And so I wrote a book about it to help others. And I've retired that world now, and I spend more time coaching and speaking and kind of being a thought leader. I've also gotten older. I can't do what I used to do.
Well, please tell us more about your book. We love books in the American Business Podcast. We love published authors like yourself. If you'd like to, yes, please.
What I'll say is mine is good. It's a good book. So this is it. Yeah,
okay,
it's a good
sense.
book. It's Uncommon Sense, the fight to fix your workplace culture in the Wild West of business. And so the Wild West described my career. I would come in kind of like Clint Eastwood, the Pale Rider, and I would join, a leadership team. And it was usually, hey, we need to fix our operations, or, we've got this startup that's not doing well, or this subsidiary in South America, or our sales organization or a manufacturing organization. And what I learned was it was usually more than that. It was more systemic. It was culture, So I got pretty good at talking to them and going, yeah, okay, yeah, I hear you. And they're like, how will you fix this? And I was like, man, by the time I fix it or tell you how, I could just do it. So it was a lot of faith in me coming in, and we would really start back at ground zero and fix their culture, and it was so much fun. But the book is based not about me. It's not a me book. It's a blueprint. It's a guide for how one could start today in their business, no matter how big or small, and just really, really do what it takes to make their culture vibrant. Because I'll say this last point, what it's always about is results and raising the bar. Like, nobody wanted to bring me in and pay me big money to do the namby-pamby culture stuff. They wanted results. They're like, I want results. We need revenue. We need profits. We need, we want it to be easier or whatever. And so I came up with a methodology over time for how I did it. And when I decided to hang up those cleats, I'm like, I need to write this down. I need to share it because it's exceedingly powerful. So it's a great book. I've gotten a lot of good reviews and a lot of engagement out of it. And I'm proud of it.
This sounds great. And it's available on Amazon, you will say?
It's available on Amazon, Barnes
Okay.
and Noble. Yeah,
Okay, this
it's
is
out
great.
there.
And
Got it in all formats. You know, I really like the audiobook. You know,
yes,
I hired this voice talent to do my audiobook. Are you familiar with Casey Kasem? You know, the
yes,
America's Top 40.
yes.
He sounds just like that. He sounds like Casey Kasem. So I'll listen to it just to hear that, you know. But
Yes, yes.
the audiobook just came out and it's really good.
That's great. Congratulations. And
Yeah.
and yes, that's true because some of our audience also our audience know we started America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. That's America's first digital first Chamber of Commerce and Industry, AVCCI, also known as. And some of our members at AVCCI, they love audiobooks because when they drive to go to
That's right.
meetings, client visits, and so on, at that time during transit, they can also listen and drive. So it's a safe way of listen to the book, learn about it, and at the same time going to the direction that they are going, the destination. So it's actually I'm glad that you actually thought about it, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
With your book and the audio book. I'm a published author myself. I know it takes a lot of work to put it together, and more
Yeah.
importantly, you actually said it yourself. So you love to share your insights, professional insights with other professionals, and I always see it as generosity professionally.
Yeah.
So for that also, I'm glad that you mentioned that.
I was surprised when I wrote the book. When I got ready to release it, it was somewhat emotional because it was like it wasn't my life story. I didn't want the book to be about me. You know, who cares about me? But it was about how you can really impact people's lives and through when you improve people's businesses, their home life, community life. You know, it's pretty powerful. And so, but yeah, I remember when it published, and I was a little bit shocked. I felt like, wow, I'm sharing it's like I was sharing something very, very personal, you know, because it was
Yes.
my whole life for 35 years, and I got good at it, you know.
Yeah, so it's a long
But,
time. 35 years of professional experience,
yeah,
a long time. So that's amazing.
yeah,
Well, so let's talk about your career journey a little bit, if that's okay. How did
sure.
you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Man, my career is not. You wouldn't write it down and recommend it to anyone. So when I was very academic coming out of high school, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to be an engineer or a doctor or whatever. So I'm like, well, I'll go into business. And so my parents got frustrated because I decided I would work before I went to college, right? So I worked for a couple years before I went to college, and some of the best lessons I got, and I put them in the book. And one of it I call a mentor and a model because I was just a kid. I didn't know how to do anything. So I was kind of green. And if you told me how to do it, I thought you had the kung fu. Like if you said, Mel, do it this way, I thought you knew what you were talking about. So I was a great coachable kid. So the first job I got out of high school was for Green Tree Acceptance. And this was for collections in the mobile home world. Okay. So it was a very interesting segment of
It is
collecting.
interesting. Yes.
And I'll never forget, I'll be brief with this. I did put it in the book, but it's funny. I go to my first day on the job, and the general manager introduces me to Tina. All right, well, Tina was a kind of scary lady. She was really sharp. I was young. I was a little bit scared of her, and she smoked. And so she was smoke. That's back when you could smoke in the office. So she smoked, and she's like blowing smoke on me, and she looks at me. She says, Mel, you do exactly what I tell you. And she said, don't you listen to any of these other people in here because they don't know what they're talking about. You do like I say because I'm better than them. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Listen, Kevin, I did exactly what she said and it worked. And I was like, I was young, so I believed that when you went to work, somebody could tell you how to do it and you did it. I applied that to the first job I had out of college and it happened again. So I was working with a guy named Mark Roth. And Mark was like an ex-Montreal Canadiens hockey player. He was an ex-Army Ranger. He was another scary dude. He looks at me and he says, Mel, you're going to do it exactly this way. And I said, yes, sir. And I did that for USA Mobile. I was helping take the paging industry back then when people had beepers, and I was their growth guy. So I took, USA Mobile South out of Cincinnati, basically to the coast. And once again, I did exactly what he said, and I became one of the most successful, leaders in that company. So early on in my career, I was, for good, bad, or indifferent, I was somewhat, it worked for me, but I don't know that everybody always knows what they're talking about. Like sometimes you go to work for a boss, they don't have a clue. If you do what they say, you fail. But I had good ones. And so it catapulted me early in my career to be a leader. So at 1 or 2 years out of university, I was already managing and leading and growing. And, so my career kind of kicked out, went into sales, went into general management, and by the time I was 30, I was at the C level. And then I was taking on more and more complex fix-ups at that time. And, que sera, sera, on it went, up until when I finally hung up my cleats. But yeah, I came out of sales, was really good as a Pied Piper. I realized I was pretty good at getting people to follow me, but then I had to learn more about how to do it. Nothing makes you feel worse than talking a whole line of people into a shredder, So I had to learn to attach to my ability to talk you into doing something, to actually being a guy worth following that's going to lead you to success. And so put a lot of pressure on myself to learn how. And it's interesting, in my book, I call that, so I'll say this real quick. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but everybody's good at having a vision in business. Okay. Everybody agrees. We have visionaries, we have a vision, and the vision is the destination. Let's go to Mars. Most people in our business don't give up on where we're taking them. They begin to question or give up on our ability to get them there. And I call that the how journey. I call it the subvision. And that's part of culture change. Is obviously you want to align everybody around where you're going. The vision, the Simon Sinek stuff is brilliant. But where most of us get paid, where most of us drive the value, is we have to figure out how to get there. So if you want to jump to the front of the line and talk a bunch of people into, hey, follow me, I can take you there, you actually have to know what you're doing. And so part of what I developed in Uncommon Sense over the years was that subvision. How do you get people all on one side of the rope? How do you get them all pulling the same direction, and really honestly being a decent person that's going to get them there, not just take advantage of them. And so that my early part of my career, I had such good mentors that it shaped me into that I was supposed to have the Kung Fu. If you asked me how to do it, I had to tell you how to do it, just like Tina and like Mark. And so it shaped me.
What is the secret of your success?
Ooh, I'm tenacious. I'm very driven. I do think I'm a decent person. I do think that matters. There is good and there is evil. There are people that will take advantage of you. So they'll smile at your face and rob you. And I think I really realized that I had to build teams and make people better people. I came up with a concept that I call the BEST Pledge, which I think is really an amazing. I wish I'd have had it my whole life, but the BEST Pledge started with, if you and I are talking about working together, I'd be like, Kevin, let's do the best work of our career together, right here and right now. You know what I mean? I mean, we are at this stage. Let's do the best work. And that worked pretty good, but I was awakened at night, like almost like an angel or something said, hey, you can't get people to join you in best practice if they're being their worst self. So I was like, really? And so I thought, wow, I've got to add that to the BEST Pledge. So the BEST Pledge went like this now. It said, hey, Kevin, let's do the best work of our career right now. But one more thing. I need you to be the best version of yourself at home, at work, and in the community. And me too. And what I realized was trying to build that, I call it the frog pond, like the good guy pond. It transformed everything I did. Because look, when the guy next to you is doing the best he can and you know it, you're willing to help them when they fall down. When your leadership will not make you work next to somebody that's not pulling their weight and ask you to pull it for them and then pay them still, that's not good. So I think the big secret to my success was really showing up, trying to figure out how to do it, being a decent person, and then trying to encourage everybody, hey, look, man, let's be our best selves. Let's have the best time. Let's have fun, but let's be successful. And the last thing what I would say was I am a tenacious achiever. Like mediocrity is not good. A lot of folks like, I like this Mel guy. He's really cool. He's got this culture, until I raise the bar. And then they're like, man, this guy's Ricky Bobby. He likes to go fast. I mean, I want to do it all, right? I want to have all that good culture stuff, but we do all these things so that we can raise the bar, so that we can be at a level of excellence, you know? So all of that together has made me me. And more importantly than any of that is I had incredible teams everywhere I went. I never could have done it. I see faces all the time, and I'm just so grateful I got to work with them.
What is the state of your industry?
So is my industry being like the executive leadership world, right? So a lot of folks look at the board of directors, the C-suite, they're struggling, they're having these. It's always been tough. You know, I think all of us think that times are different, you know, and they always are, but we are entering into some really dynamic stuff now, right? So I was around for the dot-com change. I was around for the shift away from like technology being a beeper, you know, to it being the iPhone, which is everything you have in palm of your hand, to now with AI coming, it's here, right? It's like I always laughed. I had friends who were like, man, that internet's going to be something one day. And I'm like, dude, it already is. What are you talking about? That's where we are with AI. AI is here. You're either lassoing it, harness it and riding it, or it's running you over, right? And so it's the same as it's always been in terms of you've got to be relevant. We have to tap the younger generation, but they needed to tap us when we were young. I mean, Kevin, come on. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I was the whiz kid my whole career. You know, I never forget going in and meeting people and they'll be like, that guy can't be the boss. He looks 12, you know? So engaging, I think the state of executive play right now around the C-suite is you've got to embrace best practice. You've got to master your how journey. You need to know how to get your people to where they think you're taking them. And you've got to be able to leverage technology like we always have. We've always had to leverage technology. We've just never had a mega brilliant infant like we have with AI. I mean, we've just got this massively brilliant baby. And you have to be careful with it because it hasn't grown up yet.
Yes,
but it's
yes.
it's gonna blow our mind.
That's actually exactly my next question. Let's continue this. This is great. So, what is your take on AI, and how do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays?
Well, it's with us like the weather now. So you can whine about the weather, or you can figure out how to farm, and so embrace it. And yeah, there are going to be AIs that are probably less honest or more deviant, just like there's people that are less honest. And there's going to be good ones and bad ones, and it is a little scary, but it's always scary, you know. And your options are you can wake up dead tomorrow and you don't have to worry about it. But if you wake up alive, embrace it, figure out how to ride the dang AI horse. And I think it's fascinating. I mean, but we have international conflicts with other countries that are going to have powerful AIs, right? We have domestic disputes amongst whatever that have AIs. We have private interests with AI. So it's just really fascinating. But it's a battleground. It's a battleground, and you've got to pick your weapon, and you got to go out there and figure out how to. The way I would like to embrace it is inside the walls of our families. Let's figure out how to embrace AI to make our family lives better. Inside the walls of our business, which is where I think business culture exists, right? Inside the walls of the business. Let's embrace AI to figure out how to make our business life more vibrant. Maybe we get more time back. Maybe we make more money. Maybe we interact better with each other. Maybe we hire better. You know, and then outside the walls where we get into our industries, right, where we're an association of competitors, we say, well, how do we utilize AI to maybe get our way with, you know, lobbying or legislation or whatever. All those battles. Look, every day you wake up, you've got all these headwinds. Let's use AI to figure out how to battle those headwinds and turn them into tailwinds, because your headwind can be my tailwind. So I just find it fascinating. And I think there are a lot of folks that spend a massive amount of time thinking about it and talking about it, and good for them. But there's already people doing stuff about it. And that's who you want to be. You want to be putting the AI to work, making your life and your people's lives better. That's what I think.
Well, let's talk about marketing practices a little bit. What are the best marketing practices for the highest ROI nowadays?
I'm not a marketing genius. I've always had the guys around me that could do the subject matter expertise, but I do think that authenticity still matters. I believe being easy to do business with. I know these aren't marketing tactics, but these are brand elements that make marketing so much better. Because look, there's nothing as good as a good review. So I can run 1,000,000 commercials and I can get 100 good reviews. But I think there's some elements of your brand, staying true to your brand, making sure you hire true to your brand, making you realize your people are probably some of your most important walking marketing that you've got, how they talk, how they act, how they interact, how they treat each other, what people see them do. Your AI, I mean, how you're utilizing AI. Trying to keep politics a little bit out of the business is good for marketing too, because you irritate half your, you irritate half your customer base when you are too political. Mechanism wise, like the different avenues for marketing, it's tricky. I do think you want to embrace some of the younger generation that maybe understands it better than we do, right? I mean, the best marketers I always had were whiz kids that they would just walk in, they would have these ideas and we would do them, but it's shifting. I'm always curious how AI can impact that, but everybody has eyeballs looking at something, and we're trying to get our product, our message in front of those eyeballs. I think messaging is really important now. You really have to get your message across. So part of what I talk about, the how journey for how you get your team to follow you, it extends out with your brand into the marketplace for how to get your customers to follow you. And a lot of folks say that customers aren't loyal, and it's true. We're not nearly as loyal as we used to, but it's because we have so many good choices. But I still think being easy to do business with, being reliable, and having that reputation makes your marketing a lot easier. Instead of lying to people and talk them into not firing you, what if you were so good you could just be honest and they followed you anyway? And I think that's what I always strived to do.
Leadership. How would you define leadership? And what are the great qualities? What are the great leadership qualities a good leader must have?
Yeah. So I'll start with this as the difference between like a culture and strategy a little bit. Culture to me is the water in the fish tank. So imagine an aquarium. The aquarium, everything that's alive in that that sphere, that's your culture. So all living creatures live in the water of the business. That's the culture. The structure of the business is the tank itself and the glass. Okay. So as a good leader, I think you have to understand that. You impact the most people most positively if you have a killer culture. Because when the tank is so healthy, all the living organisms prosper. They don't even think about it. The resistance is not there. So I think one of the first elements of a leader is you have to realize what falls up, what I call falls up. What falls up? If you have the power to remove bad guys in your business, people that are, bad guys can be defined by the people that work for you. You don't even have to do it. The people that are in the way, they pull against us, they're disruptive, they're perverts, whatever it is that they are, get them out of the business. That falls up. So as a good leader, to have a culture that you don't want people fighting against each other, you've got to make what I call make the town safe. That's in the uncommon sense, Western vernacular, right? Make the town safe. The next thing a good leader does is lowers the slope of the business treadmill. Okay. So these are Mellisms, but you go to work and you go in some cultures and they've got people jacked up on rock climb. Like they don't remove obstacles. They don't approve things quickly. It's like, but everybody that works there is used to it. And you go in there and you're like, we don't have to live this way. So I'm going to make the town safe because I have the power to, and you don't. I'm going to lower the slope of the business treadmill. I'm going to remove obstacles. I'm going to approve things quickly. I'm going to eliminate red tape. I'm going to get rid of all the junk in my business that makes it hard to work here. The next part of leadership is you have to be sound strategically and with management. You've got to know how to structure your business and that sort of thing. And then eventually what good leaders do is they go first. They lead first, and that's where that best pledge comes in. It falls hard up when you go through the whole company and you're like, hey, let's do the best work of our career. And oh, by the way, let's be the best ourselves. And then you go be a terrible person. Everybody in the company's like, Mel, you're a hypocrite. You're a fraud. And so you have to live up to this stuff. You have to eat your own dog food. So I'll ask you, like how many companies have you been into and they have all the, the mission statements and the core values up and then you go out with the leaders and in one night you're like, holy cow, you guys just broke 7 of your, key tenets of ethics or whatever. I mean, it happens all the time. So a good leader brings the mirror and looks in it first and goes, oh, this is what I see. But then the leader turns it on everybody else and sets a standard and says, let's live up to this. I'll go first. I think those are the most important parts of leadership.
Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
Oh, man, yeah. So one of my first was Art Williams. And I don't know, I'm getting older, so people may not know Art Williams. Art Williams he was the founder of A.L. Williams, which was a network marketing insurance company. Okay. So think about that. He actually started a network marketing business to sell insurance and securities. Both are licensed products, right? You have to have an insurance license, you have a security exchange license. And I marveled at him because like when I first came out with the how journey for how you're going to do it, nobody had ever set me on fire with a vision before. And Art, he had this ability to speak, but he had this satellite network and he had all of these network marketers all over the country. And he would come on and talk and he would say things, Kevin. He would be like, to be successful in these United States, you have to be excited. Nobody wants to listen to a dull, disillusioned, doggone crybaby. And I would listen to that and I would be like, yeah, he inspired me. I didn't know how to do anything. I was too young to have a securities exchange license. It's right before I went to college. But it caught me on fire. And I was like, man, one day I'm going to be like that. One day I'm going to be that kind of person that gets up and gets people excited. But like I said, before I made it out of college, I learned I need to know how to lead them. I need to know where to take them. Hey, I've always said this, like a bunch of people headed to like a destination with no journey, they're just wanderers. But a bunch of people that had this great, journey planned with no destination, well, they're just a chatty bunch of nomads. And so early in my career, I was able to get both. And Art Williams was that. And then the second would have been Mark Roth, who taught me right out of my first real post-university job. And he invested so much in me early on, and he put so much pressure on me. I'll tell you a quick story what he would do. He would call me, or I would call him, and I would have a problem, a real problem. Okay. And he's hired somebody that does not have the experience. And I would call him and say, hey, Mark, I really don't know what to do about this. We've got this. I think I have some theft at this location or whatever. And he'd be like, Blackwell, do you remember rule number 6? And I would go, and he didn't want to lie to him now. Remember, this was the 6'5" Army Ranger, Montreal Canadian hockey player. Okay. Had already gotten his MBA, smart as he could be, kind of a badass, scary on purpose. And I didn't want to lie. So I'm like, I don't remember that more. He said, good, because I never told you. He said, rule number 6, Blackwell, when left in charge, take charge. And he hung up the phone on me. And I was like, okay.
Take charge.
I'm in charge, And so that was just, he was just such a great guy. He teaches now in University of South Carolina, I think.
Amazing.
But there's been others as well, but those two totally opposite, right? One inspired me and the other scared me into like great performance.
I like this. Well, okay. Key career lesson. If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us? Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the #1 source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. That you can share with us.
I call it asking a cat to bark. Okay, asking a cat to bark. Early in my career, I thought I could be the difference for a weak player. You know, we all do it. It's like, I can do it. You know, oh, Bob, I like Bob so much. And, you know, he's 80% there, but I'll be the other 20%. And I learned that it sounds so mean when you say it, but we don't do other people's jobs. I do my job. They do their job. And, you know, I learned that. And then part of that then came another Melism, which was we start doing our job at goal, which sounds so mean. So it sounds so mean. It's like, he seems like a nice guy, but he sounds so mean. It's like, I can't do somebody else's job. It doesn't make sense. It won't work. Then nobody's doing mine. You can't do more. Somebody's like, well, I'll do 2 jobs. No, you can't. You'll do half of each. That's what you'll end up doing. There's 100%. And so I learned that you have to make that hard decision. Don't carry the weak player. Don't put them in the wrong seat and then wonder why it didn't work. You know, don't put a cactus in the Arctic and wonder why it died. And so you make the tough decisions first, and then you do set really high bars. I mean, really high bars. We start doing our job at goal. I can't tell you how many times walk in the culture and somebody will come in like, Mel, you'd be so proud. Our division was 96% of our goal last quarter. And I'm like, great, you did 96% of your job. And I'll walk off. And they're like, I don't know if I like this guy, you know, but it's the truth, right? So we changed the culture. We changed the mindset. No, we start doing our job at goal. You're not fired. I'm not mad at you, but you left 4% on the table, dude. And so by going in there and getting the entire culture to understand, we don't ask cats to bark. You can't do somebody else's job for them. Put people in the right seat. Ask them to do their job. You do yours. I'm going to remove obstacles, lower the slope, all that stuff I said. But, oh, by the way, we're about to raise the bars. We're going to have exceedingly high goals, and we're going to hit them. And it is so much fun. It is so much fun. And people can do it too. And they want to do it. They just don't want to, they don't want you to ask them to do it in your janked up mess of a company. You fix what you're supposed to and then tell them to do what they're supposed to and watch what happens. It's amazing.
In this part of the episode, is there any question that you would like to ask me?
Well, look, man, what you've done is hard. So how did you, first of all, you decided to start the American Business Podcast, which is very successful. And now you spun off into a virtual
Chamber of
Commerce type thing. So how did you come up with this and where are you along the continuum to get it launched?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the American Business Podcast part, well, I watch podcasts a lot. I see them as a resource to keep learning and seeing what is out there. And I didn't see any podcast similar to the American Business Podcast in terms of rich business content, keeping it educational, non-political. So I wanted to start something that doesn't exist and that is needed. So that's how I started it. And because educational and informative and non-political is pretty inclusive as well. And anyone goes to the American Business Podcast YouTube channel or other channels that we have in social media, anyone can see that it's actually pretty rich in terms of content, variety of business subjects. And while I was interacting with our supporters, followers, and our sponsors, I've been getting requests about starting a platform to help business professionals connect. And then I come up with America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, powered by the American Business Podcast, which is the first digital first chamber of commerce for America. And
that's great.
And there is no other chamber of commerce that's virtual. Embrace an entire country. And now it's within 4 weeks, we just passed 100 paid members, which is very exciting. Now we have committees to create educational meetings. We have regional chapters, which we are in the process of expanding. We have a business book club, which is pretty cool. We have great co-chairs. All these committees and chapters, they're all member-led. We have great leaders, great co-chairs. And we started Public Speakers Club as well to encourage professionals towards public speaking and also promote public speakers who are also AVCCI members, America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Nice.
So
that's great.
Yeah, it's within four weeks. It's been a great journey, and there's more to come.
Excellent. Well, congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for this question. Okay, well, great. What is your career advice for the next generation professionals?
Man.
Hi, it's Neil Abruzzi, and I'm here to talk to you today about America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I am proud to be the head of the Technology for Business Committee, where through the Commerce we intend to bring usable technology information to the membership. Something not far-reaching, but something that you can use in your business, hopefully that very day. I'm 35 years running EDI Options. We're here a company for making connections between retailers and vendors. We provide connectivity services, integration services, data handling services, and all kinds of different commerce consulting. So come on and join us at the America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce. You're going to love it here, and I look forward to working with you going forward.
Hello. I'm talking to you as a founding member of America's Virtual Chamber for Commerce and Industry. We are proud to be a founding member of this movement, and we're inviting you all to join in. Let me introduce myself. My name is Halil Aksu. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Digitopia, a global scale-up working on digital and AI transformation, reinventing consulting. We are helping organizations ranging from Unilever to Microsoft, from Intel to many other organizations in various industries, in various geographies. We are assessing their maturity, we are road mapping their digital and AI transformations, and we are helping them with all kinds of questions around AI implementation. As you know, AI is the most important and most influential technology of our days. This change is unprecedented. Every industry, every business is affected and must harness the opportunities AI is bringing. So for any questions around AI and the transformation within your organizations, we are the right partner to talk to. We helped hundreds of customers around the world, and we're happy to helping you as well. Looking forward. Thank you very much.
Man, stay out of the politics of business. So I learned this. So I talk about culture bandits in what I do, and it's in the book. It's in Uncommon Sense. But a culture bandit is not necessarily a bad guy. Like, I'll give you a quick example. Let's just say that you run the business and you run it a certain way, and you hire me, and then I decide I want to run it differently than you. Well, if I don't have the authority to do that, I need to get on your side of the rope, or I'm free to go find somewhere else to work. So even if you're wrong how you're doing it, if you're the boss and that's the way you do it, then get on Kevin's side of the rope, or get on Mel's side of the rope, or you need to go. So for young people coming out, try to find a good place to work where people have the kung fu and they can teach you something, right? And be patient and work hard. Work hard, get there early, and find somebody that knows what they're doing. Find you a mentor and a model, and just really throw yourself at it. And I would say be a best practice person young. Like, a lot of young people are like, what do you mean by best practice? And they feel like, well, that's an old people thing. And I'm like, no. Best practice just is the simplest, most efficient way to get something done, right? And you can get more people to join you in best practice than you can worst practice. And what happens is you get powerful, and then you roll out worst practice, and people, you write the check, so they have to work in your janked up mess. And so young people just have to come out, work hard. A lot of folks pick on this generation, but these are hardworking. These guys are sharp. They work hard, and they just aren't going to. My mom told me this when I was little. She said, Mel, you're either the first dog to the bone, or you're the sorriest dog on the porch. And it's one of those things I didn't know where to say thank you or dang, mama. But that's a little bit the way this generation is. If they're incentivized, they will hustle and they will go after it. But if you show them just but they're just going to lay down on you and just go, man, I'm not going to go do that for you. Who are you? You're not the boss of me. And so I kind of love this. I love this generation. I think if you inspire them and you have the kung fu and you're the mentor with the model, I think that's what they're looking for. And to be honest, that's what we should be looking for. And they're very talented.
For those who like to continue this conversation, what is the best way to be in touch with you, learn about your activities?
Sure. So I'm on all the social media platforms. So I've got my LinkedIn, you just look up Mel Blackwell and I'm there. melblackwell.com is there. You can pretty much what I do these days, Kevin, is I'm doing keynote speaking and I love it. I really do like it. And I say this humbly, but my keynotes are pretty awesome. Because there is, I go to keynotes and I'm like, man, I like mine. I'll even watch them after I do them and I make myself laugh, but they're very, 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 they have so much depth and wisdom in them. That's from 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people along with me learned together. It's just so good. And so, or I'll do some selective engagements with leadership teams, or maybe I'll do a keynote and I'll embed for a day, at a user conference or whatever with the executives and do that. But I like the complex stuff. So if anybody's struggling in business and they're like, man, this is really tough, I wonder who could help me, give me a buzz. And so when you get to my website, there's a button, you can hit a form, it'll go to my team, it'll get to me pretty quick. And, I really like helping. So you might be surprised how accessible I am.
Mel, thank you so much for being with us in your busy
Yes.
schedule. And thank you for sharing your professional insights and wisdom with us in the American Business Podcast.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for letting me ramble on.
My pleasure. And to our viewers and to our listeners, thank you very much for listening and thank you for watching. We'll be right back after a short break. Thank you.
I'm David Faverio. I'm a founding member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry, other known as AVCCI. I am the chair of the Sustainability Committee. We look to educate people and businesses on how to be more sustainable and how to introduce sustainability into their business to be more efficient in their operations. I'm also the president of Pupfish Sustainability Solutions. Pupfish's data destruction methods are AAA NAID certified through iSigma, which certifies our adherence to the high security and ethical standards in the data destruction industry. We operate on a zero landfill policy, which means nothing winds up in the landfill. Everything's 100% repurposed or recycled back into the U.S. manufacturing stream. And Pupfish received our certified B Corporation status in 2021, and we are proud to be a force for the local and global good.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Mitchell, founding member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Visit us at www.avcci.us and become a member today. I'm also the owner of Emerald City Ventures. I work with Gen X women who find themselves in a pattern of stopping and starting and starting and stopping. And we reunite you with that version of yourself that you've been trying to reach for years. And she's in there. We're going to bring her out. So visit us at www.kimm.co or email me at theowner@emeraldcityventures.net.
Hi, I'm Jolie Leidner, and I'm a founding member of America's Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And I'm also the co-chair of the Human Resources and Workforce Development Committee. And we at that committee will guide you with everything educational for HR and recruiting, as I own Jobs by Jolie, a staffing company. And we're here for all your staffing needs, where we staff every industry with a personal touch, and we do temporary, permanent, and temp to perm staffing, and we do it across the country. So I could be reached at 516-521-7602 or Jolie@jobsbyjolie.com. Hope to hear from you. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Christian Torres. I am one of the new founding members of the American Virtual Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, we're putting together some committees that are shaped specifically to help business owners just like you. And I'm proud to be the new co-chair of the Business Strategy and Innovation Committee, which means every month we're going to be working together to bring you the educational content, the insights, the learnings, and the resources to help you figure out what's next, what's on the horizon. There are so many shifts in the marketplace right now and disruptions going on every single day. My background is actually in decision intelligence, which means that I help companies make high-stakes decisions using data, AI, and decision-making frameworks. And I do that all through my company, Stark Analytics. So I am really, really excited to bring that expertise and knowledge to the Committee for Business Strategy and Innovation and help business owners just like you get the tactical advantage that they need to succeed.
Would you like to listen to music during your work time? We are here to help. We created ABP Office Music Pod, powered by the American Business Podcast. ABP Office Music Pod is for you, the working professional. You can enjoy jazz, lo-fi, smooth jazz, classic music, and more during your work time. We keep the music positive and energetic. You can go to the YouTube channel of the American Business Podcast, or you can scan this QR code and start listening right away. There is more coming in the American Business Podcast, and this is one of them. Enjoy ABP Office Music Pod during your work time, and thank you very much for your support. Would you like to start your business podcast? We are here to help. My name is Kevin Deveci. I am the founder and host of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. When we started the American Business Podcast on February 28, 2025, we had only one mission in mind: to promote, support, and uplift American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the American business community. Within our first 6 months, we managed to pass 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and we received YouTube Silver Award. This is an important award. It shows our dedication to American business and to the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and American Business Podcast community. Now you can have your own branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast Network. You can promote your company, your products, your services, and you'll have instant visibility in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and followers. You can promote your company, your products and services. You can educate and inspire businesses and individuals. More importantly, you can tell your story, your brand story. How did you get started? What makes you different? And how you are helping your customers and communities. As you know, in the American Business Podcast, I've been talking to more than 100 American businesses. Each business has a story that is inspiring and motivational. I know your business also has a great story which is motivational and inspiring. It is time for you to have your business podcast within the American Business Podcast Network. We help you start your business podcast and we help you grow your business. This is a great opportunity for you to be visible in the marketplace in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers and subscribers. And this is a great opportunity for us to fulfill our mission to promote, support, and uplift American businesses. Please send us an email and let's get the conversation started. It is PAAS@americanpodcast.tv. Business podcasting as a service, powered by the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast is America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. My name is Kevin Deveci. I'm the founder and host of the American Business Podcast, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you working with you and help you grow your business with your new business podcast. Thank you very much. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Just Answer. Real help from real experts 24/7. Experts such as lawyers, doctors, veterinarians, computer technicians, home improvement experts, mechanics, personal tax experts, computer technicians, and many other experts are available for you 24/7 on Just Answer. You'll get your answers anytime, during the day, during the night, 24/7, and you'll get your answers from reliable sources. You can scan the QR code on the screen and you can sign up for Just Answer. The answers you need at a price that is right. Scan the QR code and sign up for Just Answer today. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you'd like to sponsor ABP, if you'd like to advertise in our podcast episodes, please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can advertise your company, your products, your services, and your brands in the American Business Podcast. Please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn more about the American Business Podcast, as well as our coming streaming schedule. Now you can have your branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We call it Business Podcasting as a Service, PaaS. If you're interested in starting your business podcast in the American Business Podcast network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. As part of our international expansion, we started international podcast editions. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page. And please go to the podcast section in our YouTube page and you'll see our international podcast editions. They are ABP Espanol, ABP German, ABP French, ABP Hindi, ABP Portuguese, and ABP Turk, that you can listen to American Business Podcast in 6 different foreign languages. Okay, well, we are in the process of increasing our presence in social media. If you're on LinkedIn, please scan this QR code and subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. If you are on TikTok, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our TikTok page. Please subscribe. Please follow us. If you are on Instagram, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Instagram page, and please subscribe. If you are on Facebook, we'll also appreciate your help and support. Please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page, and please follow us. And finally, we are on IMDb, next to other reputable media productions. Please scan this QR code, go to our IMDb page, and please rate us on IMDb. We'll truly appreciate your help and support. I'd like to thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in coming The American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast, America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. Thank you very much for your help and looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.